what's up with this good taste? Hell with that.
Hey, welcome everyone to What's His Outlook. We're back talking to you guys after Washington had a few days off. We got Raymond Lyons here, Carlo Dudley Jr., and Wilson Tarpley Jr. Some of the things I talked about during pregame, Washington took care of some of those things for about 3 quarters. And then it happened. Ray Cardell, we talked all the time about Washington usually on the wrong side of those 40-point quarters. This time, they were on the right side of it in the third quarter. And Donovan Mitchell clearly had enough of all that late in the third, and that carried on into the fourth. Man fell short of the 50 ball. But yeah, Ray, I just want to know which your thoughts were as we watch Washington. Like, once again, I tweeted it out. I was just like, we've been here several times this year. Washington has a lead going into the fourth. Washington's in the fourth with a double-digit lead. And, again, they have 3 wins, so clearly it hasn't ended well most of the time that we've gotten to this point. What did you see as this one kind of, rivaled away?
Yeah, it's just, it's just disappointing to continue to see them lose games this way. But the constant is whenever the opposing team kind of turns up the heat on them, they will. It just is what it is, man. You said you pointed out Donovan Mitchell started to get extremely aggressive in the latter parts of that third quarter and spilling into the fourth. And I mean, that was pretty much all it took. The rest of the team kind of followed his lead and mounted the big comeback. They were up 15 heading into the fourth, and they lost the fourth quarter by 19 points, 45-26. And just same things that's been plaguing them. 17 turnovers and gave up 28 points off those 17 turnovers. Can't win basketball games like that. And adversely, they're not turning the other team over. Cleveland only had 7 turnovers tonight. So they got to return fire, man. When the other team kind of gets aggressive and turns it up on them, they send them to the line 36 times. Cleveland made 33 of them. Washington, they got to the line fairly often as well, but they missed 6 free throws. Those little things add up in a 4-point loss. So yeah, man, it's tough, but same old. They got dominated in the paint 50-36. So as well as they played for 36 minutes, the last 12 did them in.
Cardell, what'd you see?
You just saw a great player wake up and just decide that we wasn't gonna lose. And Donovan Mitchell, that's usually the case sometimes in his league. Like the best player on the floor, bar none, is Donovan Mitchell. And with the game getting out of hand and getting away from the Cavs in the fourth quarter, he did what elite players do. He put his team on his back and decided we're not going to lose this game. And he went crazy. He had 24 points in the fourth quarter. 8 of 14 from the field, 4-6 from deep, 4-4 from the line. Only plus 19, 1 turnover. He was scorching everybody himself. And with him leading the way, taking the pressure off everybody else, the Cavs outscored the Wizards 20-10 in the paint, 10-0 in fast break points. Then the turnovers, with him putting the pressure on the Wizards, they started pressing. And that resulted in 7 turnovers in the fourth quarter alone, which resulted in 10 points off the turnover for Cleveland. It was just a masterclass, as far as a great player showing why he's a great player. And as great as Bub and CJ were throughout the game in the fourth quarter, and then Bub was still kind of fairly effective, 8 points, 2 assists on 3 of 7, but he was 1 of 4 from deep. I know a couple of them shots were late when they was trying to, trying to stay in the game and trying to tie it late. But CJ in the fourth, he was trying to answer the bell because he saw what Donovan was trying to do, and he went 1 for 8. Outside that layup late in the game, to try to cut it to 2 late, like 30-something seconds left or something like that, with 4 points, man. So outside of that, I mean, Boot gave you 6 in the quarter on 2 or 2. Outside of that, everybody else was MIA. And look, man, sometimes in basketball, the the best defense is a strong offense, and that's what Donovan Mitchell came with in the fourth quarter. He put pressure on him, and you are what your record says you are. With the Wizards being a bad team with the record, they couldn't answer the bell, even though they played tremendous basketball for about three quarters. But that fourth quarter did a man, and that's why it's tiers. That's why when people, don't understand why certain players are viewed as superstars and then as stars and all, it's different tiers. And Donovan Mitchell, he's at the top of the elite tier. You know what I mean? Like, he's rumbling. He's in the mix with Booker, and Anthony Edwards is the best two guard in the league, and he showed it in that fourth quarter.
Yeah, and to talk about, like you said, Washington had 3 good quarters, and they got some good performances. Like Jameer Watkins gave them a hell of a performance tonight off the bench. I thought he did what he could defensively, right? Dealing with Donovan Mitchell, and some of it was just like, hey man, you're a rook, and Cardell, for all the reasons that you just listed, Donovan Mitchell's still gonna, have his way with a rookie. I do think Jameer did a decent job, but they did such a good job with like that high screen. Sometimes Watkins went underneath. Other times you saw Bags try to come up and hedge, and Mitchell just played that. He played that like somebody who's seen that quite a bit, and he made them pay for every decision they made when that pick was set up top. The other thing is, I was saying in pregame, we've been talking about how many points they concede off turnovers all year long, and that it took a while, but that reared its ugly head late in the game too. And what's crazy, I wanted to get you guys' thoughts on this. I thought for the most part that might have been like the closest Bub kind of looked to last year's Bub for the most part. Like I know that jumped out at me like maybe in the first quarter. Felt like that way. I felt that way most of the game, but I want to get you guys' thoughts on that too.
Oh, for sure. Yeah. This is the Bub we envision seeing coming into the season, taking that next step. Unfortunately, he just was in a hell of a shooting slump that really started honestly in summer league and just carried over to the season. Obviously having a lot more responsibility, which is warranted based off his rookie year. New guys, new additions, new draft picks and stuff, just a revamped team, a team that's building. And, it was a nightmare start as far as shooting-wise with him. And then sometimes it impacted other parts of his game, but I'm going to give Bub credit for him to be so young. He handled it well. He stayed professional. You never saw his energy waver. He always came. He was Bub through it all, and he kept fighting. He kept putting in work. He ain't put his head down. And that's part of being a professional. You got to handle the bad times just like you do the good times. And he was the ultimate professional through that. And it kind of started a couple of games ago where he started getting a little rhythm. Then last week, I believe against the Hawks, he had like 14. He shot well, played well. And then now the confidence is high, and it don't take much. You know what I mean? Like for a basketball player, your confidence is everything. When your confidence is high, you could do a lot of things. And Bub showed why he was picked as high as he was, and hopefully it continues. But yeah, this 27-8-6. Look, believe me, if he continues this type of production for the rest of the season, the beginning of the season, nobody will remember. Nobody will remember. They're gonna forget about that. Be like, he coming. You know what I mean? So, and as a reward of his production in every phase over the last couple games, including tonight, he got to start again. And that's another part of him being promoted. He came in, he had the keys. He was star point guard. He didn't play well. They benched him. He didn't get a lot of minutes sometimes. If you watch the whole season, he stayed Bub. And that's a hell of an example for a young player, man, because we've seen vets pout and be like, I want to be out, trade and all that. They don't handle it well. Guys start, double-digit years older than him, man. You know what I mean? So you got to tip your hat to him, man. He handled that extremely well. And honestly, he set the example for everybody else. Like, this is how you handle it. You stay professional and you just keep working. And eventually it'll come back around and be your time. And it's his time. It's been his time the last few games, especially tonight. He balled, man. So, kudos to him.
All right, if you guys have nothing else from the game, look, it's up there. We already know what it is. All right, look, I'm not going to be extra with this. There's no other reasons needed to add to it. Who'd you guys have for X Factor though?
Yeah, X Factor. I'm gonna go with Evan, man. Evan Mobley. I know Donovan Mitchell went crazy. He had 23, 13 and 6. He was working on a triple double, man. Like he was hooping. But you know what I mean? Like he the one that grabbed it. Whatever Donovan Mitchell missed, the rare misses he was grabbing those rebounds. He had 4 in that quarter. It wasn't many to grab, but he grabbed it, and then his defense. He was an anchor inside. He made sure the Wizards didn't get nothing easy inside. Even when he had to get out on the perimeter, he held up, hedging out and stuff like that. His defense also stood out than anything else because he only had 4 points and 4 rebounds in the fourth. But he played damn the entire fourth. He played 11 minutes. And, look, as much as Donovan Mitchell was cooking, if they didn't get stops, the Wizards still would have won the game. So it was a combination of the fourth was just outplaying them on both ends. And, yeah, Donovan Mitchell took care of business on offense, but Evan Mobley was the anchor on defense to make sure the Wizards didn't get any momentum, trying to keep the lead and trying to, outdo Mitchell's barrage so they can hold on for the win.
Right, you have another candidate. You went with Evan Mobley too.
If it didn't go against the spirit of the award, I would say Donovan Mitchell for X Factor as well, because when he just flipped the switch, the game just completely changed. But no, I agree with Evan Mobley, man, for all the reasons Cardell listed. And it just goes to show, like he said, even with what Donovan Mitchell was doing offensively, still got to take care of business on the other end because obviously they were down 15. You can't come back from a 15-point deficit without playing defense. So, definitely big shout out to Evan Mobley, man, for staying engaged. Things weren't going well for the team for a majority of the game, but it just takes one little spark. Donovan Mitchell started getting active, and then Evan Mobley, he came in and did what he do. So yeah, I rock with Evan for X Factor.
And real quick, Wilson, just to bring it home for that quarter, the Cavs defensive rating was a 92.6 in the full quarter. So they really clamped up. Their offensive rating was a 164.2, which says the Wizards defense.
Time to take your health seriously. Soccer makes that easier than ever.
What the hell?
Because staying healthy is more than hitting.
Hey man, I'm right with you guys. Like you can see Donovan flip the switch like maybe with I want to say like 4 minutes left in the third, right? You see, he was kind of like, all right, I need to get going, cool. But like you guys said, in the fourth, that quick little 5-0 run in the fourth, that little burst, that started with back-to-back stops by the Cavs. And keep in mind, usually Evan has Jarrett next to him. There was no Jarrett next to him. Like, if he didn't do what he did defensively, like you guys said, regardless of Donovan's heroics offensively, like they would have just been trading baskets. Because like we saw Cleveland have to go zone at different times because they couldn't keep rushing his guards out of the paint. Evan was able to hold things down in the paint without fouling in that fourth. Because we saw CJ going from into the basket, same thing with Love too. CJ set him for a whole lot of jumpers in that fourth quarter. Outside of that, the easy leg where they kind of gave up early. So, I mean, yeah, I'm right there with Evan for you guys. Had a couple comments. Let me get those up here. Play good till the fourth. Decide to freaking sell.
Guys like Will Riley.
Don't stress yourself out, partner. Don't do it.
These comments coming rapid fire. They're just a tangent right here, so I'm just sharing them as such. Oh my goodness.
Hey, no. The Wizards really shouldn't feel bad. Donovan Mitchell does this to everybody. Ain't nobody exempt. When he turns it on, he's a load because he could hit that 3 ball and he's a explosive, strong ass guard when he get downhill as well, man. So he's just a tough cover, man. It is what it is, man. But you gotta figure out a way to keep that lead, man. You got to, especially at home. Like you had all the momentum, they balling. Jameer Watkins, I thought the young boys came in. Will Riley, now 6'10".
Man, I'm not gonna lie. My bad. I want to cut you off. My bad. I wish that they had like the Wizards defense to me the best it was that for most stints tonight was when the youngsters were in there on the wing, messing stuff up. Like you said, now 6'10" with Riley. There were so many times where Evan got position or got an advantage, and Riley and Watkins were just contesting anything in the paint. So it was like Bags had help, even though he was the only big when those two were in. And you saw like you Cardell, you were like, what the hell happened in the fourth to their defense? It's crazy, but the two rooks not being in there, like they had a big impact defensively tonight when they were in there.
Jameer played 9 minutes, but Will only played 1.
Yep.
So, but Justin was strapping that, and I think
Right.
that's who Coach McHugh, that's who you went with. Justin, like bottom line, whoever's out there they got to.
You're right. You got to get it done.
You got to
get it
done. It's like the Kobe mentality, man. Like I don't buy that. He was just hot tonight. F that, cool his ass off, man. You gotta, like you're not gonna. You see he's coming. Like what's my alternative? Though? Like either this gonna be a shootout, and y'all wasn't hitting shots, so you gotta get. And it was really just him. Nobody else.
Dude, Darius Garland was 0 for 11 from deep. Like that boy started the game 1 for 11. So to your point, Cardell, if it's only him, if there was ever a night to jump said person, this was the night to jump said person.
And that's why I say across the league, the defense just ain't up to par like what we were accustomed to growing up, like watching. And I want to hear that era stuff. Man, I would have been sending doubles and triples. You not bro.
Darius
Garland
gonna have to get
back.
Going.
You're gonna have to get back. Like if you ain't gonna get back, sit down with me, dog. Like we up. We can win this game. This would be a big win for us. You know what I mean? Even though they wounded and stuff, but they still had enough of their key core where this would have been a big win. And you know, it is what it is, especially off a week off. Like it's just like damn, dog. So hey man, this tough, but they competed, man. This best I've seen in a few games, probably since the Bucks game. So they got to keep it going. And I love with the energy that the young boys and they strapping because they want to stick. You see what I'm saying? So we ain't gonna get into it, be messy and stuff. We talked about Bub staying professional through his stuff, his trials. There's another young player that chose to go the other way, and you seeing where it's at. And I'm gonna leave it there. You on mute.
I'm also going to stay above board on that topic, but that right there that's what you want from the youngsters is what you saw tonight out of Watkins and Riley. They went down to the G and they was like, they both today was just like, I'm not going back. I don't want to go back. I don't wish to go back. Like, exactly. Like, that's all. Like, you can't tell me that's not what they were thinking. Every defensive possession, bro, like, I'm not going back.
I'm going back, dog. Somebody coming about their spot. I don't know who.
It's not up to me.
Decision. I just know that's all I know.
So when they come here to send people down, it won't be me. That's my goal. So credit to them though. Like you said, I agree with you hardly for Bub saying remaining Bub, and credit to those two. Like we still not at the halfway point. Like if they could get into this rotation this early and stay there for the rest of the year, like that's huge for them. That's huge for both Riley and Watkins.
And let me ask y'all, if y'all were the coach, would y'all keep him in, or y'all at the time, and would y'all be at the point like whoever played the hardest playing? That's all I care about.
Oh, I think you got it there at this point, man. Like 3-20. I don't think it's any other way to go about it.
No, Ray said it, and again, like the thing is, like there's a stark difference between them in the game, them on the floor, between them being on the floor and off the floor. Similar to we saw Champagne not getting minutes early in the season, and then now he's back in rotation. But we know with him, he already did the thing that Watkins and Riley trying to do. Like we know who he is, and we know what he's out here to do. On that end, we don't worry about him. Most of him not being on the floor tonight was foul trouble. He kept getting foul trouble, but again, so that if that's a third guy that you know, and both of those guys are got good size as well, that could come in and defend. Like there's minutes to be had. There's we talk about no-brainer type stuff right now. Like I don't care what either one of them do on offense. Go play defense.
Look, this league changes quick, man. Stay humble, keep working, dog. Especially when you got like 8 dudes at the same position, man. Moving funny ain't gonna help, bro.
Hey, man, we said at the beginning of the year it's going to be Hunger Games on the wing. And that was for the entire season. not just training camp, for the season. We're not even a quarter way through Hunger Games. Wizards wing style, like wings edition.
And Koulibaly and Kispert out. They ain't playing.
So, you know, when they get back, they want, like, you got everybody out here trying to rough each other's spots.
Yeah,
I love it. I love every bit of it. Because even if you're not in the long-term plan, you can't afford to just think it up because then somebody else won't want you. Hunger Games. I'm here for every bit of it.
And that's why OKC be playing the way they play. They got a bunch of. I'm trying to get on the. Hey, I'm here.
Just want every part of that. But Washington to be on the road on Sunday.
Indiana.
So to take on Indiana. So we'll see you guys then. But appreciate y'all as always. It's a tough one, but yeah, it's always a pleasure watching Donovan Mitchell do what it is that he does. For sure. But y'all have a good evening.